McQueen came out in July of 2018. A lot of people are saying this is the best documentary to have come out this year. I say maybe. I wouldn't say that this one is up there with the best of all time. That said, it is a very interesting insight into the man, the myth, the legend, Alexander McQueen, and everything that he had to overcome in his upbringing to become this fashionista, this artist, and to build the brand and company that he did. And in that regard, it's a very inspiring tale, and it's also a cautionary tale of what happens when when a brand or a name becomes more famous than a person. He had to kind of live up to this brand that he built, and because of that, he kind of ended up in some trouble towards the end. Okay, that was a minute. So he does end up killing himself and has this struggle with drugs towards the end. It's really tragic, and really sad to see somebody who's clearly so artistic and talented and kind, and you get to see him interact with his family and friends, and he just loves his life and clearly is so passionate. And I guess that's the curse of somebody who's plagued by creativity and passion, is a lot of times it drives them a little bit crazy, and drug abuse doesn't help. It is really interesting the way that they edited this movie. First, you get to see how he infiltrated the fashion world and kind of got lucky, as well as just was insanely dedicated and had no money and was making clothes out of trash basically when he started up. Then he starts to become a little bit more famous and gets all his gang together, and that part's interesting, and you see the very beginning and the clear talent as he started to take off, and then his brand starts to become more of a thing as he gets two different jobs. He's working in England and France at the same time, basically doing two jobs full-time, designing clothes. It's like he basically lived two lives at once. And you get to see as the stress gets to him and as his relationships kind of ebb and flow and he separates with people, that he gets a little bit more artistic freedom. He kind of goes off on the deep end at some points in times when he loses a few of his coworkers. As a whole, very interesting insight into the fashion world. I didn't know a lot about fashion going into it, so all I knew is that he made Lady Gaga's meat dress for the Super Bowl, and it was very interesting to see how much he actually impacted this world and how much he pushed the boundaries. And it was pretty funny to see all these people that are living in this high fashion world, unsure if they should just completely reject it or if it's brilliant, the sex-filled and deadly displays that he puts up there. So it was something. I would say you don't have to check this movie out. It's not a must-see, but it's interesting. It's probably a little bit longer than it had to be, but as a whole, shot fairly well. I mean, it's a lot of interviews, which don't necessarily have to be the most cinematic, and yeah, everything was pretty adequate. I wouldn't say that anything beyond the story is really incredible in this movie, and that's kind of what keeps it just as a 7.9 out of 10 for me. Anyway, let me know what you thought. Did I review it effectively? Did I do justice to this fashion icon, Alexander McQueen? Let me know. Let me know what else, other movies you want me to review. Next, I think I'm going to try to tackle Sorry to Bother You, but leave suggestions, and don't forget to subscribe and like people. See you next time.